Hello, and welcome to this video tutorial from TrainSignal. The following clip is from TrainSignal's Cisco CCNA course, featuring almost 29 hours of CCNA training.
There are some OSPF router types you should be familiar with for the exam, and you do see these in a lot of OSPF documentation. So they're terms you need to be familiar with for the exam and for the real world. What we'll do is look at them on the whiteboard and then actually bring our diagram back up and see, okay, do we have internal routers here? Do we have ABRs? And then I'll show you how to go on a router and actually determine which router type or types a router is, because they can be more than one type. That's probably good to remember for the exam. They can definitely be more than one of these four types. Now, the first type is an internal router, and that's a router whose interfaces are all in the same area. They're all in the same area. Do we have any routers like that in our current network? No, because every single one of our routers has interfaces in multiple areas. So we have no internal routers. Now, ABRs, they will have at least one interface in area 0 and then connect other areas to area 0. So there's two requirements. Let's bring our diagram back up, and you'll see that all three of our routers are ABRs because they all have an interface in area 0 and they connect other areas to area 0. So that's an ABR. Now, a backbone router simply has one requirement. A backbone router is a router with at least one interface in area 0. That's it. Now, all ABRs are backbone routers, but not all backbone routers are ABRs. So let's take a look at our diagram here, and we can tell immediately that all three of these routers are backbone routers because they do indeed have an interface in area 0. If not for the loopbacks, they would only be backbone routers. Well, actually 2 and 3 would still be ABRs, right? Because we've got area 23. But if we took the loopbacks away, router 1 would no longer be an ABR. So as it stands, all three are ABRs and all three are backbone routers. Now, the one type you're not going to see here, and I'll briefly describe this to you, it's an ASBR. It's an Autonomous System Border Router, and I know that Autonomous System is an EIGRP term. You'll see it there, but these are OSPF routers. They're Autonomous System Border Routers. They take routes from other protocols and place them into the OSPF domain. Now, 99% of the time, that's something that's going to happen manually. And this process is called route redistribution. Because what we could have is we could have R1 up here, say, running EIGRP or RIP version 2 on another interface and learning routes via that. Well, router 1 is not going to take those RIP routes or those EIGRP routes and advertise them into OSPF by default. We may not want it to. But if we do, we have to perform what's called route redistribution, and you'll learn more about that in your future studies. It's actually a lot of fun and a way to get a really bad headache all at the same time. Now, to view a router's OSPF type and the RID and some other interesting information, you can run the simple command show IP OSPF. Not OSPF neighbor, not OSPF anything else, just show IP OSPF. And you get up here immediately, it says routing process, here's the process, here's the ID of router 3. It is an ABR. What else we got here? A lot of information here you'll learn about later in your studies. Here's area backbone, which is 0. It's going to show you how many interfaces you've got in the area, whether you have any authentication, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. And then what you want to watch is this number, SPF algorithm executed X times. Now, every time we've made a change in the network, that's been executed on R3. If you have an instability issue with your network, things just are a little off, run this command and then just keep watching that number. If you see a great number of recalculations, that points to a problem in OSPF, because this is not something that should be recalculating a great deal.